Hello everyone, my name is Lena and I'm an online teacher, and in this video I wanted to tell you about how my fall schedule is looking with Outschool and what's happening in fall. But before I get into this video, I do want to tell you that if you are interested in applying with Outschool, I do have a link in the description box. So if you want to sign up and teach and make your own classes and set your own hours and pay rate, then you can look at the link in my description box and let me know if you decide to use it, because I do like to help people along the way. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about my fall schedule with Outschool and what is actually happening here. Okay, so first, before I go into that though, I do want to kind of tell you what my expectations were for fall. I was thinking that fall would be different than last year. Last year was when we had the pandemic and a lot of kids were at home for the pandemic, so a lot of students were looking for other classes. So I kind of knew that there might be changes. There are going to be changes because there's not going to be as many students at home. But then there's not going to be as many teachers at home either. So, you know, you lose a little teachers, you lose a little students, kind of balances out for those who are staying around. So, you know, I didn't know what to expect. And I just, you know, you just plan for having backup in case things are not as you hoped. All right, so my original plan for fall was actually going to be kind of similar to my summer schedule, which was working in later in the day. I'm starting at 9 o'clock. I like to, you know, have that morning time to like do work. I'm fresh in the morning, so there's a lot of things that are going through my head and I just want to get them done in the morning. So I like to be able to teach after I kind of get some other things done. So I like starting at 9 o'clock, and my plan was to work a 2-hour block and then have a break and then start up again at 1:30. And so I was doing 9 to 11 and then start up again and teach from 1:30 to about 4, 5-ish, you know, we'd see. And then if classes really picked up, then I had some afternoon classes that I can schedule too. But I didn't want to have all my classes opened up at the beginning because I didn't want to have like too spotty of a schedule. I didn't want students to just have one student in, you know, 6 classes. No, I wanted to kind of give them 2 choices, and then morning or afternoon, teaching several different classes, morning and afternoon. And then if those filled up, I'd open up my afternoon classes. So you know, we're going into it now. I'm seeing now that fall is here and several kids have signed up. I have had a lot of kids sign up. It's not as full as I want it to be, but I have classes that are about 50% full, a couple with like 2 students in them out of 6. And then I have some that didn't fill up at all. And with those, I could just either continue to wait on those, or I can cancel them and put in a one-on-one class, like a tutoring class instead. So I have that as my backup for that. Then I do some one-on-one tutoring. So I have several students who are doing one-on-one tutoring. But it's not as many right now. It's not as many as I am wanting to see. So I am having to do some adjustments. And you know, that's as a business person, when you're doing something, you can't expect for things to just, you plan something and then it just goes the way you think that it's going to go. No, you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to plan, right? And have a backup plan. You have a plan B and you have a plan C. So I'm kind of figuring those things out. What happened at first though, when I first opened up my classes and I announced them to my students, I love my regulars. Of course, you know, there's several regulars who are still in the age group and who are still, you know, at home during those times who wanted to sign up with me. So I have several regulars who have signed up in those classes, and I love teaching them. And they're just so comfortable having students who you're used to seeing. And that's working out good with the regulars. But several students did want to have evening classes. Like I have some one-on-one tutoring classes, and several wanted to have more evening classes. And I had some people ask me for evening classes, like, you know, after school times. Some kids wanted to go to school and then they wanted to come home and still have another class in addition to that. So I made sure that I kept the classes that I had, and I added a couple more in the evening to accommodate that. So I'm adjusting to that. And the more I look at it, it seems like kids, which is kind of what Outschool has said in some of their newsletters, is that parents really they do like to have those evening hours. I mean, you have some in the morning, but you do have a lot who want to come in the evening and have those extra classes for their kids. So that makes sense. So it's good that I have my afternoon open, and then I can teach later in the day after having that break and getting more stuff that I need to do in the afternoon. Then I can teach later in the day, and it's fine. My schedule will allow me to do that, and to be able to, to be moving, flexible in that way. Before, when all my kids were home and we're going to sporting events all the time, it wasn't so easy to have later evening or afternoon classes. But now my kids are all out of the house, believe it or not. So I don't have those restrictions on me anymore. So what I also decided to do was to play around a little bit with how much I charge for these classes. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who would say that you should keep your prices high because that shows that you are a good teacher and that you feel like you are worth that amount of money. And, it says a lot about the quality of class that the parents are going to get if they pay that money. I do believe a lot in that, but at the same time, I feel like when things are, when we need to adjust things, we have to kind of play around with stuff too, because I know that I'm a good teacher. I don't need to price my class high in order to prove to somebody else I'm a good teacher. I know that I'm a good teacher. I have a lot of experience. I know a lot about using a lot of different fun things in my classroom, and I have invested in a lot in order to make my classes to be fun and engaging. But during this time, when I'm trying to be a business person, I'm trying to make my classes sell, I have to think of marketing my classes too. So I'm going to market my classes better by lowering the price temporarily. I'm thinking about the kids who are in the class too, because I do want to have a fun filled class with the kids, with other kids, because when kids come, they do like to see other kids in the class, right? So I do want to make sure that I can try to bring about as many students in the class as possible for the kids who have signed up. And so I have decided to lower my classes as a marketing scheme so that I can, not a scheme, but a marketing plan in order to bring more students to the class so that it could be a better community for all who are signed up. And I'm temporarily dropping those prices, but then I will raise them again when the time is right. I will raise them again. But I do believe that if I'm trying to draw people in, I should drop my prices. And I have heard other teachers will do the same. And when they're trying to fill up a class, or they're trying to fill up, when they're trying to draw people in, you have to adjust the prices, even for quality stuff. Think about when you're at a store. Sometimes when you're going for quality things, you still will see them on sale at a certain period of time, right? They have their high prices and then they'll go to their lower prices. So there's, even though it's quality things, you still have a time where there are sales. So right now I'm in sale mode, and then I will raise my prices again because I put a lot of quality time into my classes. I have, over the summer, I spent a lot of time upgrading a lot of things in my classroom. I redid my descriptions. I redid my titles. I did a lot of research, SEO research, so that I could make sure that my classes were being searchable, more searchable. So I spent time doing that. I changed a few thumbnails that I wanted to change. I thought that I could make them look better. Some of them I just like the way they are, so I'm just keeping them that way. But I've changed a lot of my classes. I added more homework for the classes so that parents could have that to do. And, you know, parents do like to have some hands-on things for their kids to do. So I added homework. I searched for the right material to give to my kids. So I have done a lot in order to prepare for these classes. So I don't want to sell these classes cheap. No, because they're not cheap classes, okay? But like I said, sometimes you have to go into sale mode, and then when the time is right, you can lift those prices back up when the time is right. So I wish I can say that everything happened the way I had planned, but the reality is it's not filling up fully the way that it did last fall or in the summer. They're trickling in, they are coming, but they're coming in slower, at a slower pace. So with that said, my ongoing classes that were really the classes that paid the most amount of money, I have a few of those, but I don't have as many open now. I'm going to close some of those up so I can have more of my one-on-one tutoring classes, because those are really the ones that are most stable right now. My one-on-one classes are most stable, and they don't pay as much, but they still pay well. You know, they still do pay well. But of course, you would hope for those ongoing classes that are bigger group classes to fill up, because then you get paid the most, right? But you know, it's not. If it doesn't happen like that, then you just have to adjust. And so I'm going to do more one-on-one classes with students, and I'll go from there. And I do believe that after Labor Day, I will see more students come, because Labor Day, again, that's like the signal of the end of summer and when everybody's back in school. Right now, you have a lot of kids who are not back in school, or they just want to kind of get back and they want to get into that school routine. And then after they get into that school routine, then they'll think about adding another class. Or even if you have like students who have, like, if they are going to be at home for preschool, maybe their siblings are going to go back to school, and the parents are just waiting for everyone to kind of settle into their routine, and then they're going to sign their child up for some classes. Like I do the preschool classes, or for a lot of kids. So those type of classes the kids would be able to do in the afternoon or in morning time, right? So I think that's what's happening right now. I could be wrong. I might come back on here in October and say, oh my goodness, my classes are really struggling here. Well, let's hope that's not the case. But I think that we'll see more classes at the end of September and October. So I'm doing okay right now. It's not exactly where I hoped it would be, but there is still time for things to pick up and to move the way that I want them to be. Okay, so that's what's happening in my fall as of right now. I just thought I'd share, and please, I'd love to hear how your fall is going with Outschool. If you are still trying to have that full schedule with Outschool, please let me know what your schedule is looking like, because I want to hear what other teachers are doing. And and one more thing that I did think about is that in my afternoon, that block of time that I said that I was leaving open, I might actually fill that up now, because I'm noticing that there's a lot of students in California who might want to have, instead of like a 9, for me that would be a 9 o'clock class, they want to have what would be their 9 o'clock class, and that would be my 11 o'clock class. So I might just open up those time slots, I have opened them up just to see what would happen. And maybe those California parents, there are a lot of them, might want to sign up their kids for that 11 o'clock time instead of maybe later. I did have requests for later times, but some parents don't want to do the late afternoon, they want to do the morning. But my 9 is too early, so I might just do better with the 11 o'clock, which, when I think about it, last fall the 11 o'clock class was my first class that really filled up fast. But I was hopeful that my 9 o'clock would do okay. but I'm just gonna go with the flow and see what works, because, you know, at the end of the day, even though I have my ideal schedule that I want to do, I have bills to pay. And so I've got to make my classes, you know, I've got to fill up my classes and make the money however the money is to be made, right? So, all right, you guys, that's all for now about Outschool. But I do want to tell you that I am offering some things on my website that you might be interested in. I am opening up a online team Huddle group. Okay, so this is for online teachers who want to spend some time getting together with other online teachers, and we can huddle, talk about ideas, share with each other, and learn and grow as a group. So we want to huddle twice a month, get together, share ideas. Please look at my website if you're interested in joining my Huddle group. It'll be on Mondays. So I have a Huddle group for online teachers. I have my TPT store that I'm still working on, but I have a freebie, 2 freebies, if you guys are interested in some online rewards for your classes. You can check out my TPT store, and I'll be adding on more online digital rewards and things you can use digitally in your classroom. And I do also have my teacher tech trainings, online teacher tech training for ManyCam and Google Slides, and for just making your classes more engaging. And I'm adding other softwares on there too, but I just want to start with a couple. So if you're interested in any of those, then see my website and you can have more details. And if you do decide to sign up with Outschool, don't forget to let me know. And if there was anything in this video that was helpful to you, please give it a like. And I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.